Welcome back. Welcome back to San Diego, California, the Golf Industry Show 2019. I'm on the GCSAA TV live stage here with my pals that built much of the stuff that we're talking about here. Sheila from GCSAA. I knew I was going to do it, right? And Justin. Got it right? Shelly and Justin, who are responsible for the particular shop we're going to talk about in a minute. But for now, let's start with how's the show been going. You guys are the nuts and bolts to making the sausage, right? What I like to describe, the people making the sausage that we get to see out here. No one always likes to see how it's made. We have seen how it's made. How's it gone so far?
It's gone great. I mean, I think we've got a lot of feedback that it's been one of the best shows, a lot of traffic, a good traffic flow, lots of attendees. I mean, look at the crowds, look at the aisles. I kept trying to get through the aisles yesterday in a hurry, and I started going around the back aisles and darting. A lot of traffic, a lot of excitement, and a lot of buzz.
And it's a second day. Yeah. This is the second day.
Yeah.
A lot of times you get that drop-off on the second day, but it does look as busy as I can recall.
Yeah.
So, good year this year. Obviously, a lot of exciting things happening. Let's talk about the big thing that you did.
So the...
Oh, that little guy down there? No.
Yeah, well, first of all, last year, okay, let me step back. I could have asked that question a little bit better. Last year, I had a golf course behind me. I had a golf hole behind me. So every year, you're building something, right? The logistics behind building is where the partnership with the golf builders come up. But it has to be conceptualized first. So before we go to him, how do you imagine what you want to do?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of logistics that go into it. I mean, it's all about traffic flow and getting the best experience for attendees to navigate, and then having the exhibitors have a good experience and having attendees easily find them. So it's a lot of logistics. Again, making the sausage. Nobody wants to know how the sausage is made.
Some of it is aisle width. Some of it is booth placement. Some of it is lighting.
In the
some of it is floor covering.
Yes.
Things no one pays attention to all make for the experience, right? The star of it gets to be what you do with the builders because it has a big impact, but that also has a message you're trying to send at the trade show that this is a way to highlight an aspect of our industry,
That's right.
that especially our relationship with the builders. So what has this meant to you over the last several years? How long have we been building stuff?
Well, it started the last time we were here with the Electric Avenue. On the other end of the hall,
Yeah,
we built
years
that
ago.
to help showcase some of the new electric equipment that was available to the industry.
Nice.
They wanted a realistic place, so we built them a green, bunkers and everything. So it started with that, and we went to Orlando, made it bigger, focused on bunkers.
Right.
Took feedback from the attendees as well as the exhibitors, and then we went big, as you do in Texas. We went big.
You did.
Built a hole. Basically a par 3.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. We had a front row seat to the building and enjoying with the dogs and then the taking down. And so, that when you go big like that, following it up had to be a bit of a challenge. So it looks like you went in a different direction. You want to start with talking about what that was about?
Sure.
And what you
think listening to the attendees' needs as well as the exhibitors' needs. There's a great group of people that are out on this show floor every year, and that's those equipment technicians and equipment managers, and they're an important part of this show too.
A growing part. They just got $1 million endowment to the education program.
Ken Malone is amazing.
This is a huge deal for a part of our industry that's been. Listen, everybody knows the value of these professionals in our industry, but now only recently, and I think Hector Velasquez, and I met at the MVT award yesterday, the professionals are rising to the top and saying, hey, we got to be more than just a person that turns a wrench, right? And I think that's...
Even in our industry, I mean, those mechanics, we couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for them. And it starts there. We can build a green all day long, but to maintain that green and maintain that golf course starts in those 4 walls with those people and that team. So
you decided to go basically from a big outdoor thing to a big indoor thing.
That's right.
So you built the shop. Let's get through the logistics. I like numbers. What's the size of it?
Well, so it's a 40 by 64. That way we could kind of keep it to 8-foot panels because that's the logistics. We got to be able to move this thing in, move it back out. So that dictated the size, but that gave us plenty of room, partnering with Hector, to put in there everything he wanted to show of how to take, and keep this in mind, this thing was built with the mindset of your average golf course. We didn't want to take the budgets of the big boys. As fun as that can be,
that's right.
We want to make it realistic so that you can take home some of these suggestions and ideas and technologies and incorporate it even on limited budgets.
Well, and I'm going to say, in case nobody's noticing this, but over the years you've built landscapes. When I hear the word Golf Course Builders Association, I'm not thinking building a shop. So this highlighted a part of your. Well, I think what you did well is highlight a part of your industry, of the building industry, that I can tell you, from an environmental perspective and from an employee satisfaction perspective, everybody that's invested in facilities that are cleaner, safer, more efficient, bright, heated, comfortable, protecting the environment around them, it's a better work environment. Work gets done better. So what took you so long to sort of highlight these guys in the shop? Because now it feels like you're not going away with this.
I know, because it's nothing new. I mean, our members have been tracking mud through maintenance shops for years. So, it's really our thought to take the fragmented industry and get it together, glue it together, and have all teams working together, understand each other's problems, but work together to solve those problems.
So I want to get to Hector, and certainly it was so great to hear you have him involved from the get-go. But it seems to me this was part of an initiative to draw attention to something like the Electric Avenue, like the landscape. What was it that made you think this was time to do a shop? Because it's not like you could have done a shop a while ago. Was there something that said it's time to do this now?
I mean, there was a lot of factors. I mean, it goes back to my role of this as the logistical manager. We usually, when we move into a hall, we take over the whole hall. Well, there was another show moving out. So we didn't have all the halls. So when Justin and I came out here for a site visit 2 years ago, we go, it needs to be something we can move in and move out. And so that's really what it was like.
Which wasn't what the last year's thing was. I mean, you did move it in and out.
Remember us fighting about when we were cleaning up?
It was our interview. It was our interview when that came up.
As we determined how this stuff.
As I'm having a heart attack.
So we were looking at each other, and I said, we need to come up with a concept. So this is completely with the support and the news that came out yesterday. We'd had this concept 2 years ago that it needed to be something that could be moved into a hall. We had the space to do it. It ends the show with a big feature. We've got the education rooms down there. But we said, everybody plays golf, but the players don't realize what goes on. I mean, the greens don't get to that way without the sweat, blood, and tears that goes on in the shop.
That's right.
And when we talked about it with Hector, I said, I want to be able to get people thinking exactly what you said. It's almost like you're part of the planning team. How to make your shop more efficient, more cost-effective, and safe.
Exactly
for everybody.
That's exactly right. So you got the man to help you, right? So let's talk about Hector for a second. You're talking about a guy who's really devoted his life now to sort of his professional life, melding with his personal life, sort of making an impact for again, what's a very quiet industry. You don't become an equipment technician if you want to yak like I do, right? I mean, you're not sitting in the shop because you say you're not aware of things. Golfers might be aware of the people who mow. They may be aware of the cup cutter. They might be aware of the superintendent. I promise you, no one's running to that shop to say, let me go meet that guy who sets those reels. Let me go meet that guy who's hooking in computers now to chainsaws because of the diagnostic in these things. These are every bit the technicians, automotive technicians are becoming, if not more, because of the involvement and intersection of the electronics and reels. I mean, it's a heavy piece of metal banging around in dirt and mud, right? So how did you find Hector, and what made you think that was the guy?
So I'll tell you this, exactly the point that you just said. When the players are on the course, they don't realize everything that goes into that. This partnership with the builders, the golf course builders, and the golf course superintendents, and now Hector, it's been that same kind of a partnership that we could not, this feature would not be there without the golf course builders putting their blood, sweat, and tears. They've got the connections.
And social media, as they're chatting about this, as our two networks have kind of merged together by the sharing of a construction job with the superintendent and so forth, Hector's name just keeps appearing in this. So you got to know this guy. He's going around the country, literally in his caravan.
That's exactly right.
And I said, Justin, can you help me build a maintenance shop? Because they build golf courses, and he goes, we'll figure it out. And he said, can we logistically do this? And I said, we'll figure it out. And then we said, neither one of us live at a maintenance shop. We need somebody that can bring it. So we called him up, and he said, sure. And so we talked with him.
He's like
every
the diners,
Friday.
Drive-ins, and dives for equipment
been amazing.
And he goes around, doing this education stuff. So it's great.
He just kept going, are you for real? You're really going to do this? We said, we're going to build you a shop.
It's too good to be true.
So we've got those two components. The third component is you coming in there and telling us the most efficient way, the layout, and then the educating of people of small things they could do. So it's a perfect partnership.
It was, yeah.
It's and you know, to be honest, it really starts with what can we move in and move out. Then it goes to how do we size it so the panels are easy to move in and out. And then it's how do we make it look like you don't need $1 million necessarily to build this thing.
Yep.
And number two, how do you lay it out so it's efficient and safe? And I think that kind of thing is so important, but I think we'd agree, not always well thought out.
No.
Not always well thought out.
And I'll say, and it can be easy. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. And we learned that as we put this together because, again, we wanted it to be more of your average size maintenance shop, your limited budget. So with partners like the Home Depot, partners like Milwaukee Tools, Levrack, these are affordable solutions that you can go to any of these locations and pick it up and incorporate it into your existing shop.
Listen, it's easy to forget walking around this place that the lion's share of the operations in golf, there's a lot of mom and pop operations.
Yeah.
There's a lot of public golf that's trying to put the rounds through, give them a decent meal, and they want to have it in place for their employees that does what we say, but you have to make it reachable. So when you start talking about things I can get at Home Depot, now I'm starting to think, boy, now I can actually really do this. And, you know, everything's trying to get more local, right? We're trying to do things, support the local businesses to have these shops. So now, as we wrap up, you've got an event going on in booth 5929 at 2:30 this afternoon. Now, somebody's going to educate me because I have no idea what a Zerk's grease contest is. So what the heck are you doing over there, and what is Zerk's grease?
So I told Hector a funny question. I said I've had more phone calls with him about Zerk, and the other day I said I don't even know what a Zerk is, but I said that's where you're in it. Lock and Lube has been a great sponsor of grease guns, and Hector is holding a contest in partnership with Lock and Lube and the GCBA and the GCSAA. You can have an opportunity to get a new grease gun, and he's running a contest to see who can load the grease gun the fastest. I was watching it yesterday, and they were all getting pretty competitive and pretty irritated.
How quick does it take to load a grease gun?
So Hector on television this morning got put on the spot to do it by and he was just under a minute by just a hair, but so he's got to break that record because.
And I'll be honest, when he said that, I was like, how hard can that be? But if it takes Hector a minute, then
as many times as he's done it, that's going to be an interesting competition.
And I want to say, you know, it's so great to have these things because it does play around with our competitiveness. But one of the things I like about Hector is he's absolutely spot on with safety. And we can't, there's simply no way you can talk about what these guys do if it doesn't start first from being safe. Because there's a lot of, there's metal, there's chemicals, there's things spinning really fast. They're sharp things. So I've always liked Hector's emphasis on the safety, and the professionalism that, you know, you got to know what you're doing to fill a grease gun. I mean, I don't want to fill a grease gun. I mean, I'm raising pigs at home because I can use a shovel and a wheelbarrow. It works perfect for me. But you get into grease guns, safety first, getting people to realize, hey, look at what they're doing. Look at how important this is. The partners, we haven't talked about it, but I want to give you one more chance. You drop Milwaukee Tools, right? Yeah. Sponsoring. Who else is over there sponsoring?
Oh, my goodness. And the best part is, these are all new companies coming into the show, but that should have been here. But no, Milwaukee Tools, Levrack, the hoist. Who brought that hoist?
Turf Pride.
Turf Pride.
I just had a great conversation with Michelin Tires. They make a Tweel, John Deere, and he came down there and saw the area. He goes, I want to do a tire changing contest.
Okay,
I want to have a whole thing.
You're watching it here now. We are now going to make it available for anybody who wants to be involved in what looks like among the most successful ventures we've ever done on a trade show floor, because the timing of the equipment, managers, emergence from an educational perspective, from a highlighting perspective, the timing couldn't be perfect. So anyone wants to sponsor more aspects of the shop.
Anyone watching, if you have something in your shop, you have that $100 idea that's been a solution that you're willing to share to other superintendents and other equipment managers, we could have a contest over that. I mean,
do you think this is going to be something that's going to be at many trade shows moving forward, or is it a once-off deal? And you're going to watch while they decide this right in front of us.
We are going to box this thing up and take it around the country, absolutely. Excellent. I think it's something that can stick around, and we've had a lot of fun doing it, so as long as we're having fun doing it, we're going to keep doing it.
Well, thanks for having fun with me, yakking about it. This is really cool. Hector's my man. I just absolutely love Hector. This is Frank Rossi. We're on the GCSAA TV live stage, brought to you by Lebanon Turf. at the Golf Industry Show in sunny Southern California and San Diego. We'll be right back.